Good morning. It is Thursday, October 28th. I'm Danielle Wiggins with your 3 News Now morning update. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me on the WKYC digital platforms. We start with Holly with a check of the forecast.
Thanks, Danielle. And oh my goodness, it's not raining and we're talking some sunshine. So it's definitely deserved after a little patchy fog in spots this morning. We are well on our way to highs in the 60s and it's going to be glorious to see some sun. I know that many of you are going to want to take advantage, even if it's a little walk on the lunch breaks, when you get home from dinner, maybe fire up the grill this evening. Appreciate that fall color because by tonight, more rain is on the way. Scattered showers becoming likely. And we'll be talking about a soaker by tomorrow morning. In fact, Danielle, you and I will be busy tracking this weather with plenty of rain expected for your Friday. And that's the view at 9 a.m. It's just looking like it's going to be not only the light rain, but like I said, more moderate and heavy at times, even through the afternoon. And yes, there'll be some breaks here and there, but the moral of the story is we're going to have scattered showers continue even as we get into Saturday. It's looking pretty unsettled. So in the meantime, for the rest of today, just enjoy a mix of clouds and sun and highs in the 60s, which is nice and mild for this time of the year. We'll be 50s with that rainy weather tomorrow, Saturday. For Halloween on Sunday, Browns-Steelers game Sunday, tailgating. Can't rule out a spotty shower, but it's not going to be an all-day rain by any stretch. So we're doing good that way. And as far as trick-or-treating on Sunday, if it's on Sunday in your neighborhood, that will be dry. But then we get right back into some cooler weather and rainy weather heading into next week. And in fact, by Tuesday and Wednesday, we're only in the 40s for highs. Danielle, back to you.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Holly. We start with developing news from overnight. There has been an arrest in the connection to the shooting death of Frank Q. Jackson, the grandson of Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson. The arrest comes more than a month after Jackson's murder. Investigators believe the 24-year-old was lured to Heritage View Homes where he was killed. 29-year-old Robert Shepard is in custody this morning. The relationship between Jackson and Shepard is unknown at this point. Sources tell 3 News Shepard was arrested at the intersection of East 46th and Central Avenue in Cleveland. This arrest comes days after the unexpected death of Frank Q. Jackson's mother. And a law to honor Aisha Fraser is moving forward after passing in the Ohio House. Aisha's law will grant additional protections to domestic violence survivors. Fraser was murdered in broad daylight in front of her family and was a victim of domestic violence. Her killer is her ex-husband, former Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court judge and state senator Lance Mason. With Aisha's law, when police are on site, they will ask 11 questions to help officers determine if a situation is high risk. Melissa Graves with the Journey Center for Safety and Healing says this will be a big help.
One of the main pieces of Aisha's law is that law enforcement will now be required to participate in training to use a danger assessment tool. And it really helps officers determine if this situation is at high risk of escalating to a homicide.
Aisha's law now heads to the Senate. The Bay Village community came together last night to remember Amy Mihalovic, marking 32 years since she was kidnapped and murdered. She was 10 years old when she was lured to a nearby shopping center and taken. Just last month, her story was featured on Dateline in a push to keep her case alive. Her father and brother were at the walk, remaining hopeful that her killer will be found.
There's just too much effort and too much manpower and with this DNA and chemical testing and whatever they have out there right now, it will be solved.
Well, of course you want closure, but it's also awe-inspiring to see the love and support that's continued for 3 decades and a half.
Organizers are also accepting donations for the Amy Mihalovic Fund, which says they believe or they will be used to pay for resources like DNA testing and travel expenses for a retired FBI agent working on the case. And we have new video showing an Amazon delivery driver charged with driving under the influence. This happened Sunday in Solon around Som Center Road near Cromwell. An officer says he watched the van driven by 31-year-old Colin Sursick, weave in traffic and drive over a curb. Police say Sursick was arrested. They found an open bottle of bourbon in the van when they arrested him. And turning to traffic news, we are 1 week away from the ribbon-cutting ceremony for the Opportunity Corridor project. The large multi-year project aims to connect I-490 to University Circle. It's taken over $300 million and many years of studies, discussions, and planning.
The whole point of this project is not only to improve the transportation system here, but it's also to really revitalize this east side of Cleveland.
While the road won't be open to traffic next Wednesday, it will be ready shortly. Workers will continue adding landscaping and lighting along the route. And turning to COVID-19 news, while Pfizer awaits the official go-ahead from government regulators, the drug maker is busy producing pediatric doses of its COVID-19 vaccine. As we have told you, the FDA approved its use in children ages 5 to 11 years old. But now the CDC must review the data and give its final stamp of approval. Meetings are scheduled for next week. And new information is out about COVID-19 booster shots and why some people may be able to get a fourth shot already. This impacts those over 18 who are immunocompromised. The CDC now says those individuals who had the Pfizer or Moderna shots, including the third booster, can get a fourth booster shot 6 months after the third shot of any of the vaccines. The third shot is actually considered an additional dose, but the fourth shot would be considered the booster, and they would receive a half dose in these cases. Starbucks is raising its U.S. employees' pay. The coffee giant says its workers will earn at least $15 and up to $23 an hour. Workers can also get a $200 recruitment bonus. Starbucks says this is the third time in 24 months that it has raised workers' pay. And big news on the Cleveland International Film Festival. It's expanding to include an in-person and virtual experience. The in-person viewings take place at Playhouse Square from March 30th through April 9th. The virtual portion, known as SIF Streams, will follow from April 10th through the 17th, showing much of the same films. And SIF Fall Fest begins today. You can stream a few past favorites just in time for the big holiday weekend.
I think Stucco is a really good short film from that program about a woman moving into a new home and all of the scary things that can bring. Our comedy program is always a favorite, like I said. One of the shorts in that is a short called I Can Change, which is really funny. It's about a couple who are about to get married, and the night before they get married, the groom ends up getting the power of stepping through time.
Each short program is $10 for non-members and $8 for SIF members. Well, thank you for taking time to join me for this 3 News Now morning update. Our digital team will continue to bring you the stories making headlines around Northeast Ohio and beyond. Make sure you continue to check our social media pages and WKYC.com throughout the day. I'm Danielle Wiggins, and I'll see you Friday morning on Go starting at 4:30 a.m. Have a great day, everybody, and keep on persevering.